Good evening, Drumdums. I'd like to play a game. You've developed quite the reputation on YouTube for reviewing horror classics, but this review is going to be a bit different. You're going to review one of the greatest horror movies of the last 15 years, and you're going to do it justice. And if you do not, one of my close friends by the name of Michael Myers will be paying you a visit, and he will be none too happy.
Saw stars Carrie Ellis, Lee Winnell, and is directed by James Wan. So Saw is the story of Dr. Lawrence, Gordon, and this guy Adam, and they're stuck in this room. It looks like a bathroom. They find this tape, and in the tape it says they have to follow a particular set of rules to live. And Dr. Gordon is told that he must kill Adam. And throughout following these clues, Adam finds a saw in the toilet. Quickly they realize that the only way they're going to get out of there is A, follow the rules completely, or B, saw their own feet off. Now Saw is James Wan's first full-length feature film, and it was made on a shoestring budget. We're talking 1.2 million, but this thing ended up making 55 million domestically, making it one of the most successful independent films of all time, really. And it just goes to show that it doesn't matter the budget. As long as you have a really good idea and a creative mind, you can pull out a great film. And the idea of Saw came from really two different things. First thing is James Wan and Lee Winnell. They were childhood friends, and many of the predicaments in this movie, they would have nightmares as children. And so they threw these ideas into the script. And then also there's a scene in the original Mad Max with Mel Gibson where Mad Max has one of the baddies chained to a car, and he tells him that he'll have to saw his own leg off if he wants to live. But this is one of those kind of a one location type movie. Most of the film takes place in the bathroom. There are other locations in the movie that tie into it, but the bathroom setting is so interesting because you just have two characters. At the beginning, they're disoriented and they don't know what they're doing there. And so what's great about it is throughout the movie, they're figuring things out, and you, the audience, you're also figuring things out. And they have these great conversations with each other back and forth because they're really just trying to figure out how to get the hell out of this room. And the stakes are really raised because their lives hang in the balance. And one thing I love about this movie is it is one of those what-if scenario movies. One of those movies that when you get done watching it, you'll have a conversation with whoever you watched it with on what would you do if you were in this situation. I was no different. When I saw this movie, immediately I thought, how would I try to maneuver to get out of this situation? Would I really saw my own foot off? And really that just adds to the fun of the movie. I think horror movies are best when they create questions, and that's what Saw does. Also, I love the character Jigsaw. He really is an icon, a horror icon. And he's so interesting because he doesn't lay a finger on any of the victims. He really gives them the choice. Of course, their choices are horrible, but they do have a choice. As a matter of fact, in the movie, one of his victims, Amanda, she actually lives. She actually makes it through her ordeal. And I think that was an important plot element because it showed that, hey, this guy, he doesn't win every time, or does he win, even though they do get out of the predicament. But it just goes to show that, yeah, he makes these puzzles, I guess you could say, for people, but these games, they are achievable. And really the biggest thing about this movie is the twists. There are so many twists and turns in this movie, and you think it's gonna go one way, and then they pull the rug out from under you, and then it just goes another way. And I have to say, I love twist endings, love them. The twist in this movie, to me, is probably top 5. One of the greatest twists ever. The reason I say that, A, is because it was just so cool, and then B, I could not predict it at all. It was completely a shock, and most of the time when I'm watching one of these twist ending movies, I usually can figure it out, or I didn't figure it out, but I wasn't that surprised. And this one, I didn't figure it out and I was completely blown away. And a word on the violence in this movie, really this was the start of torture porn. And James Wan never intended for this movie to be that type of film. And if you watch it, yeah, it does have some pretty gruesome stuff, but those scenes aren't that long. They don't take up a lot of the movie. Really, every quote-unquote torture porn incident in this movie is a plot device. It is an intended element for the actual scene, whereas the later sequels, it felt like a lot of these torture porn scenes were more of just carnage candy, I guess you could say. And really, the violent scenes only take up a good maybe 5–10% of the movie. It's more of a psychological thriller. And if you remember, 7 had come out almost a decade before, and there were a few movies after 7 that this film can kind of fit into, like The Bone Collector and Kiss the Girls. So really, this movie was kind of intended to be that type of movie, but it ended up being the start of a different subgenre, which is torture porn. But Saw was so successful, it spawned 6 sequels, and there was even talk of doing a reboot. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do a reboot down the line. Still to this day, this is one of the most talked about horror films, just because of how genius it really is. The writing is excellent. So in the end, I am definitely going to give Saw a high purchase worthy. It is a great horror movie, and it's one of the best out of the last 15 years, really. So what are your thoughts on Saw? Looking forward to hearing them. And as you know, I was going to review either this or Hellraiser, and you guys voted for Saw, but it was so close. So Hellraiser is definitely going to be coming really soon. And I had a great time giving my subscribers a little bit of a say in what I review. I think that's always fun. I like to make my subscribers a part of my reviewing process. So anyway, guys, make sure you join the Killer Flicks Facebook page. We've been having a great time talking horror all day, every day. And make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And Drumdum out.